refuse to wear bifocals, but it's a pain. I trip. I tried them and I kept tripping.
Oh, yeah, no. Readers.
Then you can't see the group.
Well, there is that.
Let's go. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the sponsors, the League of Women Voters of Ames and Story County, the United Way of Story County, the Ames, Iowa NAACP, and KHOI Community Radio, we warmly welcome you to the state of the Ames community. And I do mean warmly welcome you, okay? I'm Ann Kinsel, co-president of the League of Women Voters of Ames and Story County and a KHOI board member. I'm joined by Ashley Thompson, president and CEO of the United Way of Story County. We're honored to serve as the moderators for your event.
Thanks, Ann. This annual event is a cornerstone of civic engagement in our community, providing a unique opportunity for our residents to hear directly from our distinguished leaders about the current state and future direction of our community. Your presence here today demonstrates your commitment to our community's growth and well-being. Now let me introduce our distinguished panel of community leaders. First, we'll start with Dr. Jason Keith, Senior Vice President and Provost for Iowa State University. Thanks for joining us. The Honorable Mayor John Haila from the City of Ames. Thanks, John. President and CEO of Mary Greeley Medical Center, Amber Deardorff. Dr. Liang Chee, the Interim President of Des Moines Area Community College. Thank you, Doctor. Superintendent Scott Grimes of the Ames Community School District. And last but certainly not least, Supervisor Linda Murken, who is the chair of the Story County Board of Supervisors. So welcome and thank you.
Our process today will be simple. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to respond to our questions. Our timer, Mr. John Klaus from the League of Women Voters, will indicate when time is up. We have prepared 4 key questions, after which we'll proceed to audience questions, if time permits, and we'll allow each panelist to present a brief closing remark. So let's go with our first question. What are the primary opportunities and visions you see for your organization at this time? And we'll just start right down the row with Provost Keith.
It's great to see everyone today. Again, I'm Jason Keith, Senior Vice President and Provost at Iowa State. I spent the whole morning in Zoom meetings, so it's great to see real people in person. Iowa State is in the midst of a leadership transition, and we wait the arrival or return home of David Cook as our 17th president. President Cook will begin on March 1st, but I can tell you he is busy meeting with campus leaders, both in person, Zoom, email, and he's going to hit the ground running. We're also being served admirably by our interim president, David Spalding, who many of you know from his tenure as Dean of the Ivy College of Business and Vice President for Economic Development and Industry Relations, a role he will return to after President Cook arrives. I cannot tell you today how Iowa State will be different under President Cook's leadership, but we're very excited for the future. One thing we do know, we will continue to be focused on our land grant mission, providing a world-class education that combines practical and thinking skills to help students succeed in their personal and professional lives, conducting research that addresses our nation's and our world's greatest challenges, and sharing that knowledge broadly with Iowans through our 99 county presence through extension and outreach. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Haila.
Well, first of all, thank you to the League of Women Voters, KHOI, NAACP, and United Way for hosting this event. I always look forward to it. It gives us an opportunity to talk about what's going on in the community. And thank you all for coming. I frankly am thrilled with the turnout based on the weather. So anyway, I'm going to just talk about, the question is opportunities and visions. And there's three buckets, so to speak, in each category. Under opportunities, the first thing is we have significant investments in our utility structure that you're going to be seeing and hearing about. Two is continued maintenance and improvements to our transportation sector. And three is completing and opening or planning for new community amenities. So from the standpoint of utility structure, after 5 decades of converting trash into energy, we're going to be going to curbside recycling. We have a proposal out right now to collect at the curbside of residences. It's not been finalized yet, but council will be seeing that. Secondly is we're going to have a new municipal solid waste transfer station. The resource recovery plant is going to be retired, but all the amenities, all the opportunities there for recycling will be still provided at the new one. And then we have a new phase one of a power plant, which will be burning clean natural gas. We'll start construction here in a year or two, and we're going to be retiring one of our boilers, which is over 60 years old. Maintenance and improvements to our transportation sector. We got intelligent transportation management coming hopefully we'll have less waiting at stoplights. Improving our 50 miles of bike trails and multimodal trails, and then also completing and opening, planning the new community amenities. So we got Fitch Family Indoor Aquatic Center will be opening here in the spring, Daly Park Splash Pad, Shanker Plaza, relocating Fire Station 2 in Ontario Park or an indoor rec center, feasibility and master plans. And from the standpoint of the vision, there's three things. Further strengthening and increasing the vitality of our downtown, which will include actualizing the guiding vision that we have for the Ames Main Street that was accepted by the city. Hopefully see the link break ground. Increase quantity and variety of price points of housing through partnerships with local developers, and continue to work together with the partners up here at the tables.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Deardorff.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much for the invite today. It's really one of my favorite events of the year. I'm Amber, new president and CEO, so have big shoes to fill, took over this position in August, and I'm very happy to continue the high-quality, excellent care at Mary Greeley Medical Center. So as I look at primary opportunities for our organization, and then that means all of you as our patients and community members as well, first and foremost, it's about our patients. So how do we continue to be the very best place to receive care within central Iowa? And by that, I mean keeping all of our patients safe from any harm, making sure that we have the highest quality care possible, and making sure that your experience when you're inside our walls is the very best it can be as well. And so that is one of our main pillars. The second one, we can't do that without a dedicated workforce. And so we'll talk about some of the challenges later on today, I'm sure, but how do we ensure that we have a workforce today and then for all the years to come? So we know there's a tremendous gap in nurses and physicians and qualified technicians coming our way. So a lot of our focus right now is how do we create a pipeline to sustain us into the future. And then our third main priority that we look at is securing what we have today so we're available in the future for all of you. Long after I leave Mary Greeley, how do we make that sure we're financially sound and responsible with what we have coming in to make sure that we have a solvent and excellent hospital for years to come? Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Wee.
I bring greetings and gratitude on behalf of the board, my faculty and colleagues, other colleagues, and the students. And I truly say that with sincerity, is gratitude. This year, we celebrate our 60th year as a community college. I have the distinction of being the shortest serving president at DMACC. So I'll be part of history, 6 months. Rob Denson is 22 years, so next year I won't be here. Yeah. But anyway, for us, instead of primary opportunities because of our anniversary, it really made us reflect on our primary mission. What are we here for? And for over 60 years, we have never deviated from the mission of meeting people where they are. For us, is to change lives, one person, one family at a time. And because of us as a college of and by the community, every time we do that, our communities are stronger. The vitality is better. And then, of course, we partner with our businesses for economic development. So as a community college, we truly do a lot of things. The gentleman to my left knows that we partner very well on concurrent enrollment. That's where we provide college classes for students. And we have over 73 high schools in our region. And we work with thousands of students every year. The provost on the right knows that we also partner with Iowa State. In fact, we send the most students to Iowa State. And 5 miles east of here is our center, where we have credit and non-credit students. So today, I come with gratitude and thanks. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your life for 60 years and counting.
Thank you, Dr. Wee. Superintendent Grimes.
First, I want to thank everyone for being here. I called off school to try to get out of this, but
Any worse, dude, any
no one took that advice of the safety of not just the children, but the community. Hopefully, I'm a year in, and the focus is still about ensuring that we have a public education system that meets the needs of all of our students, families, and community. Ultimate goal of Ames Community School District is to ensure that people in the district, community, and surrounding districts are very proud of what we are able to serve and what we're able to produce when it comes down to the best education in the state of Iowa. I have spent many years in the education field, and what Ames has to offer, this community is top-notch compared to other districts that I've been in and other districts that I work with. We serve 4,500 students. Story County itself serves over 10,029 students in public education. The goals of Ames, as our size being the largest district in the county, is to ensure that every student in the county is able to benefit from the work of Ames, as well as those districts also. We have a PK and beyond vision that we are working towards, that's to connect everything that we do to ensure that our students not only are prepared for public education and a career and learning from preschool up. Something's going off here. That it's going to take a lot of groups to make that work. For that to work, I have been meeting with the city, ISU Research Park, and ISU, DMACC, the Ames Alliance, as well as 11 other school districts in the Story County. Our job is to put opportunities to students earlier, which I'm calling experiences for job-embedded 21st century skills. And I want every student to see themselves in a future at the youngest age of preschool and up. It's a tall task, but there's a lot of momentum with a lot of businesses that I'm sure I'll be able to speak on with another question. But you'll see me connecting more and more to the vision of our future. The people that eventually will be in this room are sitting in our schools and right now sitting in their homes. And I am the hero of the day. It's the only day I like to walk through schools because students are thumbs upping and saying, "You are awesome." But anyway.
Thank you. Supervisor Murken.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know how to top that. But I, on behalf of my colleagues, Lisa Heddens and Latifah Faisal, and myself, I would like to thank you all for your interest, your commitment to the community to come out on a day like this. And I'm going to talk about just two specific issues that we're working on. We're working on a whole lot of things. There are two things we're putting a lot of energy in right now. One of those is housing. We want to help and do our part to increase affordable housing in Story County. We have actually set aside $2 million in TIF funds. We don't have a specific plan yet, but we're working on that, and as I said, there's more to come. We will let you know what things we are able to do to help the housing situation in Story County, and we're looking forward to it. The other thing is we hired a staff person to help expand options for unhoused individuals in the county. It's called our Unhoused to Housed Empowerment Program. We have a case manager. He's going to be working, in conjunction with, resources in Ames, but also throughout the county to help people get housing or get better housing. The other thing I would be remiss if I did not mention today, given the weather, is that there is a group of agencies that has put together a warming place for unhoused individuals here, and we've got two of the partners in that group, the Mary Greeley Medical Center and the City of Ames here. Story County's also been involved, and I'll probably miss somebody, but the Bridge Home, Romero House, Salvation Army, and several other agencies have been working as a group to do this. And we have a warming place that we opened at First United Methodist Church across from the post office downtown. If you haven't heard about it, go to ameswarming.place. We've been open for 7 days now and are serving an average of 12 people a night. Come talk to me later if you want more information, because John just waved the flag at me. Okay.
All right, now that we're all warmed up, we'll go to our second question, and we will start with Mayor Haila. The question is, how have actions at the federal and state government levels impacted your organization? Mayor Haila.
Well, thank you, and I think that I'll start with saying that there's more anticipation on how their actions might be affecting the city versus how they have right now. Federally, we have a top-notch public transportation system here in the city with SciRide. And the city, SciRide gets at least $2 million a year operationally from the federal government, 80% of the bus purchase price, as well as facility improvements comes from federal government. And so if there are cuts in the federal funding for that, that could affect SciRide. Secondly, is we do get grants and or funding to help with rent assistance as well as funding for housing. And so we're always looking and monitoring that. Every year we're surprised that we still get a similar amount each year, but that is something that could certainly be impacting us. From the state, we just continue to see an ongoing erosion of local control, where the state government is trying to make more decisions for us. And there's two big issues, one really big issue and one that to me it's really big. The small one is, for the second year in a row, there is consideration to turning city council and school board elections into partisan elections. You'd actually go to a primary, you'd run as a Republican, Democrat, or whatever party. And last year I went down and pleaded and advocated that not move forward. I think it would destroy the fact that council and school board want one thing, what's best for the community, not what's best for a party. So I have already been in contact with some legislators pleading, please do not let that go through. And secondly is property tax reform. No one likes paying property taxes, but everyone wants services. Everyone wants amenities. And so consequently, I think a lot of people don't understand how property tax works. We don't, and we have an extremely well-managed, well-run, efficient city organization. The people expect to have their roads plowed, they expect to have them maintained, they want nice amenities. And last time I checked, we don't have beaches, mountains, theme parks, but we do have a fantastic quality of life, and we do have great amenities. And so that's something that we are anticipating might come. Right now we're planning and budgeting as if it's not coming. but we have to, as a city council, be considering how that might impact our operations long term. I know there's a number of organizations here at the table have similar concerns.
Thank you. Ms. Deardorff.
Thank you. This is a doozy of a question. Like, really, I could have 2 hours up here to talk to you about what we're seeing at the federal level, state level. So I'm going to keep it high level. I'm sure some of the questions afterwards will be related to some of the topics that we bring up, but federally, obviously, that big, beautiful bill, it's potential, like Mayor Haila said, the potential impact of that is significant. And so up to just statewide, $2 billion of impact to our health care here within the state that is potentially impacted to that, and some of that is our non-paying, lowest paying individuals that we serve. And so we've seen the ACA subsidies at the federal level, quite a bit of conversation there. And payer accountability. I know it's being talked about at the state level and then federally as well, but the amount of administrative red tape, the amount of, I'm going to call them games that are being played right now is just adding to the cost of overall health care. We have to continue to employ additional FTEs, additional services, just to meet the overall administrative burden to apply to some of these things that are coming our way. And that's not impacting those at the bedside. I want to invest our funds and our dollars into our nurses, our physicians, those that are caring for our patients, not administrative individuals like myself just trying to make sure that we're checking all the boxes. So it is getting more complicated. A lot of our expense, like truly a tremendous amount of our healthcare expense is going to that administrative red tape, and it's just getting worse. At the state level, in 2023, we have 123 hospitals here in the state. 53 hospitals had a negative margin. So that's 47% of our hospitals, mainly rural, had a negative margin. We saw one hospital close last year. This is real. So we had the directed payment program that has helped hospitals, especially those in the rural communities. It's where we're using Medicaid dollars at an enhanced rate to meet some critical needs related to behavioral health, C-section rates, and then readmission rates into the hospital. It's all about quality care. And if we're meeting those measures, we have a little bit of enhanced rate. That is keeping some of these 53 hospitals truly alive today. So with that big, beautiful bill, some of the things we're seeing, if that's impacted and that money goes away, we're going to see some challenging times ahead.
Thank you. Dr. Wee.
Workforce. It's that simple and that complicated. Whether it's federal or state, that's something that we do every day. You may not know this, but folks who are seeking degrees with us, we serve about 34,000 people every year. Those who are coming to us for short-term training just to advance in their career or to get into a career, that's over 21,000. That's a lot of people. And the state data shows that the folks we have the pleasure of working with, over 90% of them, they're employed. So that's good. So for us, training is important, but making sure that the programs are relevant is important. So yearly, we review our program. We have advisory committees who basically tell us what's happening now, what's not. So we listen to the industry. We also work with small businesses and medium-sized businesses when they are growing. So since 2007, we have over 500 projects, short-term training for new employees. Over 500 projects since 2007, and that effort yielded over 24,000 new jobs. So for us, paying attention to what's happening in the local community is important. We have 13 locations spread throughout our district, and our folks basically are the eyes and ears. They live in your community. They go to your meetings, city council, county supervisor meeting. We listen to what you need, we talk to your businesses, and we come back and formulate a game plan. And for some of the small businesses, they may not even know what they don't have. So guess what? We go and knock on their doors and basically say, did you know that this is available? So we don't wait for people to come, we go out and see them as well. Workforce.
Thank you. Superintendent Grimes.
I think the biggest thing we're working on with federal and state is to continue to fight against the misperceptions that are being caused on education and the need for public schools. We spend our time, I would say red tape-wise, we have administration in place more now to counteract the effects that are happening from the federal and state level to protect our staff and our students. And we're doing that with less money. From the federal level, the perception that's coming that education does not need funding or leadership really does have an effect at the impact of our teachers and our students. More and more, I think the legislation is trying to strip away, I would say, the necessities for students to be successful, and not knowing the impact it's having on not just the students but the families. We're doing more with less. The rhetoric is not where it should be, and we should never put public schools students in competition with other students, and that's exactly what our federal and state government is doing. We are forced to put students to compete against other students because it's getting down to that level. It used to be classroom to classroom. It used to be building to building. It used to be school district to school district, and now it's becoming county to county and state to state. And now we're actually having to deal with the rhetoric of nation to nation that we are feeling that we're competing against, and this does affect our students, their families. We, as a district, want to have a safe place for families to come and provide their students, and the rhetoric that is coming from our legislation and federal government is not sending that message at all. We're working twice as hard to ensure our students feel safe and that they can be educated and compete with other students at that level. I can go in a long time, but I've been in public education for 18 years, if not, well, 30 actually. And this is a tough time for us to sit back and think that students are not affected by what's happening in our federal and state level. We need a state that students want to come to, families want to live in, and that's accepting, and that's what we're working with our students. And that is a PK and Beyond vision. And did I mention I called school off today? I mean, I just want to go back to a positive note there. I don't know.
Thank you.
Again, I have to go after this guy. Let's turn the order around. Okay, enough of that. I am going to second what Mayor Haila said about needing funding for local services and the need for local control. I'm seeing an erosion of local control, and I firmly believe in local government is the most responsive level of government. You see me at the grocery store, you see me, wherever, we see each other, and, wherever we go, we're talking to, the people and the residents of our communities about what's going on. And I'm going to challenge a perception that it seems like our legislators have that people don't want to pay for services. The conservation bond that was recently passed in Story County, $20 million for conservation, 78% of the voters voted, said tax us more for this because we believe in conservation, we believe in recreation, we believe in bike trails, we want to see these services. And yes, Judy. Yeah, I was looking at you. The Conservation Board did a great job of getting information out to the voters and saying, these are the things that we are doing, these are more things that we can do. And just about 78% voted yes. I keep telling people that because I want people to realize that if the services are important to people, they will say, yes, we want to pay for them. The other thing that I'm seeing, besides the issue of property taxes, is that we're seeing a lot of regionalization. We've seen the mental health district maps changed I don't know how many times in the last couple decades. It almost seems like some people in the executive branch of state government think if we just have a new map, everybody will get mental health services. That's not the way it works. It's not, the fault is not the map, the fault is resources. We're hearing that about public health too, the more regionalization. My concern is that we're losing doors on the local level. We're losing places that people can go on a local level to get the services they need. I think back during COVID when we managed through that. If we had not had public health locally, where would we have been? My time's up.
Thank you.
John, you're not giving me as much time as everybody else.
We're entirely fair and equitable here.
I wasn't listening. I'm not listening.
I'm playing by the rules. That's my problem. That's what Scott says.
Our third question, and we'll start with Ms. Deardorff, is how are you ensuring...
Give me a chance to answer the question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's great.
I give my time to Scott.
Yeah, he canceled school.
Yeah, we just went online, so not as much of a hero. We're constantly evolving. Higher education is always evolving, but it's been a very rapid evolution over the past year and a half that I've been at Iowa State University. One thing that higher education sometimes people talk about is that you can't do anything in a year, that universities move at glacial pace, and that's an insult to glaciers. But we've had to work really fast and hard to try to keep advancing our institution. And we do that by having a North Star. And for Iowa State, that's in serving our students. This is one of the great legacies of our former president, Dr. Wendy Winterstein, who established the goal of Iowa State becoming the nation's most student-centric leading research university. And that's important because the innovation in our curriculum, the emphasis on hands-on skills, in addition to providing what would be in textbooks to students so they can have the practical side of things, that's becoming more and more relevant. Dr. Wee talks about workforce, and I'll come back to that in a second. Of course, there's new policies and laws, and we've had to adapt very rapidly to be in response. We need to follow the law. That's our directive from our bosses. But we do this with an eye on serving our students. In terms of workforce, our mission focuses on, since the 1860s, when the Morrill Act established land-grant universities, to really focus on career outcomes. And so we're looking at the competencies that our students get when they come out of their university experience. Having better partnerships through things like Ames National Lab. And I apologize, I'll have to leave a little bit before 1 to make a call where we're trying to put Ames Lab in a better position to partner with other national labs across the entire DOE complex. These are some things that we're trying to do to help our students and our community.
Okay, now we'll go with question 3 and Ms. Deardorff. How are you ensuring that everyone in our community has access to the services and opportunities your organization offers?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's rooted in our mission. Our mission is we provide excellent patient-centered care to all. And so there's a few parts of that I just love to call out whenever I get an opportunity to. The we. It's everyone within the walls of Mary Greeley. So I say there's no just us at Mary Greeley. No one's just a nurse. No one just works in dietary. No one just registers patients. We're all part of the mission to make sure that the patients have the very best experience. And then that very last word, or 2 words, for all, that was very intentional as well. We are a community hospital. We are here to serve you. We don't care background, race, creed, color. Come in, we will serve you to the very best of our ability. So we are open to all, and we make sure that our services are open to all as well. So at the very root of healthcare, obviously as a hospital, we are open 24/7. So we are here in your time of emergency. We see the best and the highs and the lows of people walking into our building. But beyond that, Mary Greeley can't do it all. So we have incredible partners around us. These are hospitals, rural hospitals that we have partnerships. It's area clinics. It's the healthcare organizations, public health organizations, and all of these fine organizations up here. Truly, as an ecosystem, we can make sure to provide that care for anyone that walks into our walls. Just one of the things that I would like to highlight in this is we take care of our community, even those that cannot pay. So in fiscal year 25, we provided over $8 million worth of financial benefit to the patients that came in, and that was serving over 2,200 patients within our community that either couldn't pay the full or couldn't pay at all. And so we do have services to help those most in need as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Wee.
We are an open access institution. That means anybody who walks through our door, we provide a service. January 7th, that's my first week at DMACC, I had the opportunity and pleasure to witness a graduation. 29 female graduates who did not finish high school, they graduated with their GED, or we call HiSET today. And another 4 graduated with an AA degree from DMACC. I was at the Iowa Correctional Institution for Women that day. So those graduates were inmates. At least one of those ladies is serving a life sentence. That means she will not leave that place. I got to leave that place that day. And it reminded me, when we talk about access and opportunity, sometimes it's not about them coming to us, it's us going to them. And I'm very proud of my colleagues who goes there every week to serve those students. And many of those inmates have degrees, and guess what they do? They serve as tutors for their fellow inmates. Most of them will stay there for 9 months, and they will go back to their home community. I hope that DMACC, in a small way, will allow them to change their path in life. So, first week at DMACC, what a way to remind us that we are a community college, and we meet people, we meet their needs where they are.
Thank you, Dr. Wee. Superintendent Grimes.
Public education. We accept everyone that walks through our doors. It does not matter what country they've come from. It does not matter their immigration status. It does not matter their gender or who they believe they are. We have to, and we will continue to accept all that walk through our doors. That is what we are. Public education was created early on as a necessity to build our country and to create our future workers to align with what we believed in as a country from the start. It did not start with private schools. It did not start with religious schools. It started with public education to move us forward. We have to focus on what's best for all the students that come through our door. And whether they've been successful at home or successful in another district or successful in another state or successful in another country, we will do what it takes to ensure that they're successful at Ames Community School District. We do find more and more that some students challenge themselves and families by moving to other districts or moving to other opportunities that our state is funding and finding that that's not as successful as they believed, but we will take them back with open arms. We will educate them the proper way with the people that they belong with, and they will be educated with students that have the same understanding of what the purpose of getting along with each other is, what the purpose is of knowing that there are differences in our classrooms and in our families, and they will understand that there are differences in our state, and there are differences in our country, and that there are differences in our world, and that's the ultimate goal of PK and beyond, is we have to educate our students to get along when the messages and examples from other people are not reflected that same way. So we accept all, and we love what we do. and I'm going to hold to my, as close to, I'm done. He held it up. I just wanted to keep going so you could, no school today. Anyway.
Thank you. Supervisor Murken.
Well, I turned to Scott and I said, after Dr. Wee spoke, I said, top that. And he did. You get, what you two gentlemen said, both you just about made me cry there. I'll talk to you later. But anyway, that was wonderful. And then the power of education. I remember somebody I worked with at Iowa State once who worked with the correctional effort, and a guy named John Wilson, and he said, we believe that education has the power to change people's lives. And that's exactly what you were talking about. Okay, so I gave away a little bit of my time there, so I'm going to go talk real fast.
Thank you.
You bet. How do we ensure everyone in the community has access to services and opportunities? We do it through three basic kind of things: communication, cooperation, and collaboration. Those are three very different things. We often talk about collaborating when we're actually just communicating, just talking to each other. We often talk about collaborating when we're cooperating, which means we're walking along the same way together. True collaboration is when you put your resources on the table. You all go and you put some of your resources on the table into the pot and say, this is for this greater good. So I'm going to start with collaboration. That's what we do with ASSET. A lot of you know about ASSET, city, county, United Way, and ISU government. We go and we put our money on the table there, and we have volunteers who look at it and say, where does it need to go? ASSET is a great thing that we have here in Ames and Story County, and we need to keep supporting that effort. So I started with collaboration. That's just one example. Communication is easy, but you have to keep doing it, and we do that. We have an active social media presence at the county. We have a website, storycountyiowa.gov. We have a Facebook page. We have other things I don't even know about that people take care of, and I appreciate that. We participate in our Nevada magazine. We help fund that. We're on KHOI every month with updates. We do public speaking and networking. So we do a lot of communicating. We could probably do more, and we keep trying to do more. And a forum like this is a great way to do it. We also have organizations that receive funding from the county, presenting at least annually to the Board of Supervisors, so there's information on what those services, what those agencies are doing with the money. As part of our rural broadband effort, we cooperated with local internet service providers, our telcos, to help get more adequate broadband throughout the county. We're not done yet, but we're very, very close to being done. And I want to talk about Sheila Schofer at Ames Public Library. She deserves credit for pushing forward on this to get funding for all the public libraries in the county. Time is up. Okay. No. Thank you, John.
Okay, thank you. Provost.
One thing I continue to be impressed with is how accessible Iowa State University is. This is during a time when many schools pride themselves on how many people they don't let in terms of measuring selectivity. Our doors are wide open. We have a very large number of first-generation students, very large number of Pell Grant eligible students, a growing interest among international students to come study at Iowa State University. We're also doing things to serve place-bound students by having more of our degree programs available online so that if someone cannot get onto campus, they would have accessibility to what we call completer degrees. And we're working on developing a reduced credit degree that I'll be talking about next week down in Des Moines. Some examples include a Bachelor of Liberal Studies that covers students' interests in many areas, business administration, completer degree, and hopefully a new psychology online degree to be approved by the Board of Regents this spring. We always try to find ways to make sure our education remains affordable as well. I totally understand the cost of higher education, as I have my son just finished and graduated, and then I have two daughters that are enrolled right now. Iowa State is a bargain compared to many of its peers, but we still lose students because they can't afford the next semester, or they cannot, they have to choose between eating and buying a textbook. So we're trying to develop methods to support those students through our food pantry, partnering with United Way. We give out over $100 million of university scholarships, and through our foundation gives out multi-millions of privately funded scholarships as well.
Thank you, Mayor Haila.
Yeah, what's interesting is people may don't realize that the city is actually a service organization, and I'm proud to serve on council and to actually be the visible part of over 600 full-time employees. You probably are aware, but we deliver, kind of like the post office, the water, the sewer, electricity, our utilities. I have said this before, but one of my heroes in the city organization is a person who's out there today, or could be there today, digging in the ground, fixing a broken water main so you can have water. They break in the middle of the winter, and they're there. We offer door service. DoorDash is actually follows us. Law enforcement and fire department makes house calls. As necessary. But the point is that we take that for granted, and law enforcement is a part of our budget. If you hear a theme here, it has to be paid for some way. The library takes the bookmobile out and makes sure that people have access to a variety of media materials. Our Parks and Recreation Department, the commission does a great job seeking to provide parks within walking distance, and they have a criteria, and I'll probably get it wrong, but it's a very short walking distance. So when we're locating them around the community and looking for new ones, that's how that is ascertained. So, and it was mentioned by several people, we have a tremendous public information officer. Boy, it used to be it was radio, TV, and newspapers, and now it's every form of social media you're trying to get out and communicate with individuals. Her team is doing a fantastic job trying to explain what is available, what are the opportunities, what are the services and opportunities. We too also have a scholarship program for people who may want to get involved or participate in either a park and recreation program, and actually the New Pitch Family Indoor Aquatic Center is going to have some scholarships for people who may not be able to afford to buy a pass to attend and participate. And then last, boards and commissions are opportunities for individuals to get involved, to give back to the community, and to be exposed to what's going on in this fantastic organization and the place that we all call home.
So we now have our fourth and final formal question, and I think maybe it's the one that speaks to the most to why you are all here today, because it's the most directly tied to our community, and it is this: how will you continue to collaborate with others here today to bring positive impacts to our community? And we will start with Dr. Wee.
The key question is, does that collaboration fit our mission, and does it benefit our communities? I'll give you an example. Over 7 years ago, Goldman Sachs, they have a program they call 10,000 Small Business Program. And it's definitely to provide small business owners with coaching, mentoring, all facets of businesses. DMACC has coordinated that program in Iowa, and we have gone through 15 cohorts of businesses. And right now, there are 391 alumni from that effort. And the total revenue of those businesses is $440 million. Total employees, 4,700. And that group of cohorts, they added over 1,250 new jobs in Iowa, and they increased the revenue combined $50 million. And these businesses are in 115 community in Iowa, not just in the DMACC area. Just think about that. And those businesses want to sink deep roots in our community. They want to stay, they want to grow, and we're extremely proud to be able to coordinate that. The next cohort is already in place, and we will add to that number. So when we talk about collaboration, does it benefit our community? And for that, it does.
Thank you. Superintendent Grimes.
I knew we'd come back to PK and beyond. So the work that we've been trying to work is connecting our community, public education, our businesses, our two-year degree DMACC apprenticeships with ISU Research Park. I am going to be fortunate to let you know that I am a Pell Grant student. I'm a first-generation educator. I was the student that probably they didn't want in the classroom, and I think I mentioned that a year ago. So when I talk about not being accepted and not feeling welcomed in a public education school, I personally have that growing up in poverty. So when it talks about my purpose or the why and how we connect is I believe in the people that are in the community. We have made great strides connecting with businesses, touring businesses, talking with the city, Iowa State. We have connections or building relationships more with Mary Greeley Medical, Dan Foss, 3M, Wiffle Seeds, right down to small businesses and the mom and pop shops. They are welcoming us through their doors because they want their future workforce. They want to know that their staff and their staff's kids are taken care of in the public school. And I think if we can grow public education, it will benefit Ames, it will benefit the Regent University, it'll benefit DMACC, and it will definitely benefit our businesses in Story County. I'm a very competitive individual, and when people talk about people are moving to Polk County or people are doing things in Polk County, it really makes me upset. I live in Polk County, but right now I would put Story County over Polk County for what it can provide. The people and residents of Story County need to understand you should be proud of what you have, and it takes sometimes, I'm just encouraged at the work and the people and the leadership and what it takes for a community to really step up for those around them. And my goal and the district's goal is to help lead that work. I think I do have one more thing, time's up, is that I believe that when it comes down to people coming into a community or having into a county, they think about these things. One, they want to live in a community that provides for them and has opportunities for their family. Second, they want to have a top-notch education system that they're willing to move for. Even if it's a job, it's probably the system of education they want first. Then they want to make sure that they have a good, well income and that their kids are in a community that is accepting of them. Then you have your events or your other venues, and I'll be honest, I look at ISU as a venue for the community, not as the top. I say that publicly, and people a year ago said, you're going to lose your job if you keep saying that. I said, well, you know what? We have to be in priority. For us to get students into ISU, they need to go through public education. And so for us students to get to DMACC and have work, they need to get through public education. 90% of our population, if not higher, is public educated, and those in this room, I'm guessing, are 90% or higher in public education, and we need to focus on that for our future. Thank you.
Supervisor Murken.
Thank you. Bring positive impacts to our community. You know, often the best thing that we can do is to bring people together who have mutual interests. And we have a lot of opportunities to do that as elected officials. We, as well as serving on our own board, we serve on various boards and commissions. We come to places like this. We talk to people. And, you know, one of the things that I really feel best about that I've been able to do in this position is sometimes say, oh, you're interested in that. Well, I was talking to so-and-so last week, and you two should really get together and talk because you have some mutual interest and you have some real energy on this project. And it is just such a good thing to be able to get people together to make those connections, help make those connections within the community, just because we talk to so many people. And we have that up, and I feel like that's an obligation to do, to remember that somebody over here should meet this other person over here because they have the same interests and they have energy, and that's synergistic when you do that. conversations like this help a lot. The one thing we really need to remember, and this is something one of the other supervisors gave me, and she wrote it to me in an email, and I just loved it, so I'm going to just read it. The most important thing is to remember is we are all doing this work for the same reason, to serve the people of Ames and Story County. We don't have to agree on everything, but we do have to remember that we're here to do the work of the community, and to do that, we have to be honest with and respectful of each other. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Provost.
I think I need 2 minutes to talk about each of the partnerships I have with all of these, but nevertheless, we cannot achieve our full potential without working together. Mary Greeley has partnered with Iowa State University on an accelerated nursing degree, which we're really excited about. I've also received medical care, so I think I've paid my bills. We have a long-standing relationship with DMACC, as Dr. Wee noted. It's the #1 destination for community college students, and we can stand up here and talk about that, but we have people behind the scenes that work every day on articulation agreements, allowing for seamless transfer from one institution to another. Even before that, many are earning college credit through the partnership, as already noted, between DMACC and Ames High School. And when we bring in one of our greatest resources, our faculty and staff, to the institution, it's having an outstanding school district to put them into. And so that helps us recruit our faculty. With Ames and Story County, believe it or not, Ames is the largest city I've lived in 25 years. But it's also the best city I've lived in. I love it here, even when it's snowing and windy like this. I joke that I am able to see all 4 seasons in Iowa, all 4 of which I saw in March of 2025. But things that we partner with the city on, like Cyclone Welcome Weekend, to really support our students as they onboard to the university, to show them all kinds of experiences besides what first semester students generally do, has been really impactful as well. To have an Ames native serve as Iowa State's president, because he already knows and appreciates the connections between our institutions and will work to keep them strong, is what we're most excited about at Iowa State as we sit on this panel together today.
Mayor Haila.
Well, thank you for the question, and I just want to stress, and I appreciate it's how will you continue to collaborate, because it indicates that we are collaborating. And I think what people don't realize is how many times those that are here at the table are communicating with one another. No one's living in silos up here. And I'm just proud to call everyone. Dr. Wee, we just met today. I asked him if he's going to apply. He says, no, I'm not applying for jobs. But, after your comments, I thought, man, that'd be pretty good. Anyway, point being is that you just need to know that we are committed to doing what we can to make Ames and Story County the best place for people to continue living in. And there's already been some examples, mentioned in terms of how we work together. But there are frequent conversations going on. Secondly, I would just encourage that we have a fantastic community. A lot of people do give back to Ames, and so how are we going to collaborate? And that is you reach out and ask how you can help, how you can work together. We can't all do it by ourselves, and I think I mentioned this before, maybe some previous state of the community, but we have to get out of this mindset that government's going to do everything for us. It's us working together as a community. And so we welcome and want to continue working with service organizations, with other individuals. We just had an asset meeting last night. Thank you, 30 seconds, I appreciate that. So, asset organization where we, as Linda mentioned, where 4 different organizations came together, and we're going to invest well over $4 million into human service agencies in the next year to purchase services to meet the needs of people in our community. That's amazing. That's just for 1 year. And so we're all coming together, bringing funds together to help one another out. So I think you can count on the fact that all of us will continue to collaborate, and we invite you to participate in that, whether it's boards and commissions, volunteer organizations, or just saying, hey, how can I help out?
Thank you. Ms. Deardorff.
Hi, thank you. I do believe Ames is the absolute very best community to live in. When I was young, and I'll say dumb, just graduating from college, I really thought I was going to leave my hometown of Ames and move out west, but man, the community here, the support and the services that we have are unmatched. So I've chose to stay in Ames. Obviously, this is where I'm raising my family, and if I want to go see the mountains, it's just a short drive away, right? I said it in the previous answer as well, but Mary Greeley could not serve this community as we do without the partnerships of those sitting up here. So going back to my 3 pillars, first of all, the patients. If you think of some of the most vulnerable that we serve, it's the behavioral health, those unhoused, and Linda already spoke to it. We have an ARCH program. We work together with every single one of these individuals to make sure that the needs of those at most risk are served as a partnership. And then looking at the workforce. Once again, public schools, we are inviting high schoolers, we're inviting middle schoolers. Let's get the elementary kids into our hospital. Healthcare is not just physicians and nurses. There are so many opportunities for these young kids, and they just don't know it. So getting them into our walls, having them practice how to do a needle stick on an orange, it's fun, exciting, and it's memorable. So yes, let's get them into healthcare. DMACC, we've had almost 500 students from DMACC just last year come into our organization. Iowa State University, the amount of interns, the amount of just incredible knowledge, data workers that we've been able to borrow, beg, steal from Iowa State is tremendous. So we couldn't do it without the partners up here.
Thank you. So now we'll go to our first community question here from you. And the question is...
We all want Scott to answer the questions for us.
I don't have any notes. Scott will start, but here's the question. How is your institution prepared for ICE agents should they come to Ames and Story County? And we'll start with Superintendent Grimes.
I feel like that was directed to me to begin with. Anyway, let's just say we have in place, like with anything else, that we have protocols in place for anytime anyone that is not familiar with our buildings. There's communication about processes in place to ensure that right now the directive will just definitely go to the district office and support that way. Unfortunately, we also know that anything that we write down or put in place tends to become a hindrance for moving forward, as then it becomes voyable, and then that way it becomes a target even higher. The more we prepare for something, they feel that we're going to try to infiltrate it differently. What I do understand is that every child in our building, we do not know their status. We do not have the right to know that status, and we will protect our kids from any opportunity that we have. We are prepared for if families were to be separated and what supports we have in place. We have very strong student advocate staff that have reached out to families directly to provide supports, but it's not something that we can put out blanket statements on, unfortunately, and I believe that's, you know, as I tell people, I don't agree with every decision I have to make, but there's some decisions that during this time that I'm going to have to make that may not feel right for myself, and sometimes does not feel right for the community or families, but please know that everyone that walks through our doors is welcome, and that we will do anything we can to protect them and their family in any instance, whether that's a irate family member or, trust me, we have a lot more scenarios out there than just the situation in our federal government that we're protecting our students from, and that's our job. And so this is just another level that is more public facing, But please know that we, day in and day out, have students that fear for their families' lives and not sure if their parents are going to be in jail that night or if they're going to get out of jail that night. We have bigger concerns than just the situation that our federal government is putting us in.
Thank you. Supervisor Murken.
I'll be quite honest, we have not had that conversation, and I thank you for the question because we probably should. I don't think we're as likely at the county government level to have that kind of a situation as the schools or larger employers, but it is a conversation that we should have, and we should have it with our local law enforcement, our sheriff, and we will do that.
Thank you. Provost Keith.
And we've discussed this in our senior leadership team and with deans and department chairs. And if faculty feel uncomfortable, if there's an event in their classroom, if there's a disruption, they're encouraged to contact our public safety office and the Office of General Counsel to help provide support during that time. Because we don't want our employees making an incorrect decision.
Thank you. Mayor Haila.
Yeah, there was I don't know if there's a rumor or not going around that there was ICE agents in the community, and so I did talk to our police chief, and he was not aware of that, but he also said that they don't necessarily contact the local law enforcement and let them know that they're coming in. I'm going to just have to, this is not a deflection, but I'm going to have to defer to our law enforcement. They're the ones that would be directly related, involved with that. I can say that we haven't had conversations as a council in terms of what we do or don't do, but the point is that's really delegated to the city manager in terms of how that might, and our law enforcement with respect to the city organization, if they were to come with respect to something in our city employees, and then from the community-wide, there's probably policy that our law enforcement already has in place, and they'd be better equipped to share with you what that might be.
Thank you. Ms. Deardorff.
Yeah, so pretty much ditto to what Dr. Grimes said. We have policies, Mr. Grimes. We have policies, procedures in place if this should happen. First and foremost, we take care of all. And so we don't know immigration status. We don't ask those questions. We're not legally obligated to ask those questions for any patient that walks into our door. And so we take care of all. Those incarcerated, anyone, like I said, of any background, it is our responsibility to make sure that they get the services that they need. If an ICE agent were to walk into Mary Greeley Medical Center legally, they're allowed in public spaces. Obviously, we have protocols in place to have conversations with them, seek further understanding. Private patient care areas are off limits unless there's a judicial warrant, and then, like everyone has said here, this is where we would rope in our legal and public safety officers within our organization for next steps.
Thank you. Dr. Wee.
Well, regularly we review our policies and procedures. And it's not just ICE, because we're a public institution, anybody can come on campus. So most importantly is how to address different situations. And we are very fortunate that we have a great relationship with local law enforcement. They are a great resource in terms of how to act. We also have security personnel on campus, and many of them also are previous law enforcement personnel. So that's a great resource. And definitely because of sometimes the changing regulations and laws, either state or federal, we rely on our legal counsel too to update. So there is no one-size-fits-all. We communicate regularly with our colleagues, and when in doubt, definitely ask and contact a particular office, and then we act from there. And really, on a yearly basis, we do drills, things like inclement weather, those type of things. But definitely, on a day-to-day basis, we have no idea what could happen. So for us, making sure that our policy and procedures are up to date, and relying on our partnership who knows more than we do, that's put us in a better place to respond when something happens.
Thank you.
Great. We're rapidly approaching the end of our time together, so We'll ask each of you to make final remarks, but I do want to give you just a quick summary of some of the themes of questions that came in if you want to take that into consideration when you're making your final remarks. Lots of questions about civic engagement and participation in our community, specifically with younger generations. Lots of questions about just overall affordability. Within our community and in our state, and just looking at overall plans for whether those are public-facing projects or initiatives that your respective organizations are working on. So those are the themes of the questions that we're receiving. So I encourage you to address any of that in your final remarks, and we'll start with you, Mayor Haila.
With me?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Didn't give you much time to prepare. Well, first of all, thank you for attending, and this is always a good time for me to learn more and hear more of what's going on with those that are up here. Regarding civic engagement and with younger people, I would agree. If you look around the room, most people here are probably more mature than they are younger. I am out talking to younger individuals, high school students, college students. We do engage with Iowa State University. We have a semi-annual meeting with council and ISU student government. We are trying to get them more engaged in the community, trying to attract them downtown. And other areas of the area. On a positive note, a lot of college students do volunteer. I think the Greek system has requirements for engagement. I know some get involved with raising readers as volunteers, certainly getting mentoring. But we got to be cultivating the next generation of leadership. And so to that end, as I talk with people who are in the 20s and 30s, I'm asking them, are you interested in potentially running for council sometime in the future or for my position sometime in the future? And so I've had some encouraging responses and encourage them to get involved with boards and commissions. It's a great way for people to really start to understand how the city works. Affordability, I touched on it briefly, but through the working together with the Alliance and Ames Area Home Builders Association and some local developers, City Council has voted to go ahead and look for ways to provide some incentives to spur on approximately 5 different housing developments. The whole goal the council is looking for is not essentially to be building or spurring on large houses, but looking for a variety of housing opportunities. In particular, I refer to it as workforce housing. I think affordable housing is probably open for definition in terms of what do you mean by affordable. But looking for everything from attached single-family homes to more apartments to townhomes to single-family homes. So that is something that we've heard from, in fact, conversations with several people here at the panel asking what are some of the challenges that you face, and it's certainly is housing and housing that people can afford. So to that end. And public-facing projects, I did touch on a lot of them. We have some ones that we're really interested in looking at. But I'm going to go back to and close with my comment regarding property taxes, and that is if the state decides, and I agree with Linda, that support for the Story County Conservation Bond was absolutely a bellwether, and just saying people are willing to pay for amenities, but some of these amenities are not inexpensive to build and they're not inexpensive to operate, and so we want to see those continue to function. But it's going to take revenue. So hate to bring it down to money, but it's part of what is required for us to operate. Although I guess maybe we could go to the hospital and ask them for some money since you guys go ahead. No, just kidding. So anyway, just kidding. Anyway, well, thank you for coming. Appreciate the opportunity to share some things that go on in the city. And again, I'm like Amber. I can't think of any other place in the United States I'd rather live than Ames. We have great people, a great community, and it's an honor to serve as mayor of the city.
Thank you. Amber.
I'll try to stay within my 2 minutes here, so I'm really going to focus on Ooh, 3 minutes. All right, here we go. Civic engagement, especially that younger generation. Maybe I'm a little unique, but I am so in awe and inspired by this younger generation. They are so much better than I was at that age. They are so intelligent. The interns that are coming into Mary Greeley Medical Center, either within college or these high school students, they're amazing. And their civic duty, their call to be better than the generation before them is tremendous. So we just need to learn to harness that. And so I feel like part of my responsibility as a leader is how do I not continue to do what I knew and what I learned, because that's older, that's antiquated. So let's learn from that younger generation. I shouldn't expect that my emails and my phone calls are going to be what speaks to that younger generation. So learning from them, we're very intentional at Mary Greeley. We obviously have a very young workforce with a lot of the staff that we hire in. Let's engage them into these committees, and how do you want to be communicated with? I know we're all like Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, but that's what they're watching, that's what they're engaged in. So we, as a generation, need to kind of morph into what they're seeing and what they need, and their civic responsibility will come right beside that. So they're an incredibly engaged generation. I'm excited to see what's to come. As we look at master facility planning and buildings, projects going on at Mary Greeley, we're actually right now undergoing a 5-year master facility plan. And so you may have seen in the paper our partnership with Iowa State University, this accelerated Bachelor of Science of Nursing program that's coming to Iowa State. This is incredible. This will help our workforce. It's 84 nurses that we will have in our wall, more nurses that we'll have in our wall that's being educated here in our community that will hopefully keep here in our community, and we need space for that learning. So that's part of this work that we're doing right now. How much space do we need? Is it a new, big, beautiful building, or do we have space internally? And then we're looking at our service lines too. What service lines need additional growth? What is maybe constricting? So we're taking all of that into consideration. And then I believe in April, we'll be bringing this to our board and making more public comments related to what that plan looks like, because at this point, I actually don't know, because we have a lot of available space and there's a lot of need too. So it's an exciting time. And I see 30 seconds remaining. I do want to take this time to say thank you. I appreciate the comments, the engagement from all of you. I will stick around if you had anything specific to Mary Greeley, but thanks for coming out on such a chilly day.
Thank you. Dr. Wee.
Imagine a young father with several young children walking into our facility and told us that they just became homeless. And he is in one of our trades program, and he might have to drop out. What would we do? And we talk about partnership today, and because of our network of partners, we were able to find him temporary housing. We were able to get him and his children groceries so that they may be safe, fed, and so that the father may continue the program, because soon he will be able to get a family-sustaining wage job. So for us as a college, we pride ourselves on providing affordable, accessible, timely education. But many times, we also have to deal with the humanity of our students. We cannot say that what they face in life do not concern us. They deeply concern us because they are part of our community. We embrace a great resource every day, and that's the life of our students. And so I want to, again, thank you for 60 years of partnership. Everybody who walks through our door has a story. They have their strength. They have their challenges. What we do, my colleagues, I'm proud of them, what we do is form relationship with them so that they trust us enough to tell us when they're hitting a very low point in life, so that together we may lift that family up again. You allow us to do that, and we will not forget that. So on this 60th anniversary, today, again, I bring gratitude. We do life better together.
Thank you. Superintendent Grimes.
I know, but I don't know if I can go.
You're speechless.
Thank you. I am going to give you a level of there is hope with our students in understanding their civic responsibility. They are able to filter through things faster and see the wool being pulled over their eyes faster than we can as adults. They're very flexible. They're very in tune to what's happening in their surroundings. They may not learn how we learn. They may not process the way we process. But for the young adults that I'm able to meet through our high schools and even our younger grades are a lot smarter in understanding of what's right in their civic responsibility. They're just not at the age to do it yet, but they are going to advocate. And I have hope and belief that they do have the numbers and they do have the understanding that it is going to be their turn. It is going to be their time. They are going to do what's best for their fellow classmates. They're going to take care of each other. And as much as the rhetoric is saying that our young don't understand, I have full faith that they were going to be able to lead this country and lead our jobs and our factories and our businesses long after we're gone, and they're going to run them very efficiently. They're going to be very capable of communicating and collaborating. They're going to understand that it's not just them standing at the helm, but it's the people around them, because they're being forced now to do that day in and day out with each other because of the forces we're putting upon them that is probably above and beyond the civic duty of our responsibilities, is that they are having to become more mature faster, stronger in protecting each other, understanding differences, and knowing what's right. And I have full faith in the students, the graduates, whether they choose a workforce right out of work, or whether they go to an apprenticeship, a 2-year degree, a 4-year college degree, a 2-year college degree, a 2-year dropout college degree, but yet knowing that is the time they had to make that difference. We need to believe in them, and we need to believe in their families, but I'm going to say right now, their families are probably struggling more than the kids themselves. And these kids are learning very strong resiliency that probably more than we will ever know. And I just want to leave with that these students want what's best. And they know my name, because yesterday, I always have to say, I was walking through the high school, and a senior saw me and said, "Scott Grimes, you are my hero." And I'm like, what? You know, Mr. the teacher that she was in said, "Hey, maybe," she goes, "I'm going to email Mr. Grimes. I think he is going to listen to me because I believe he's with the kids. He sees us." And so she was just congratulating me that I made a good decision for her and her, her safety. She even said her safety, that I cared for them, that it was my civic responsibility to ensure that they get home safe today and tomorrow and that they're able to have some time to rest. So on that note, PK and beyond, I love what I do. I love being the opportunity to work with the people on this table, this community. And more importantly, I love working with students and faculty for the best interest of our students in the future. Thank you.
Supervisor Murken.
Thank you. I'm following two very eloquent gentlemen here, and I have a list of a few things I just want to say, and this might seem kind of eclectic and not as well put together as the wonderful things they said, but I'm going to say them anyway. Okay. First, I want to say, when I talked about local government and how government's best that's closest to the people, I was not just talking about the city and the county. I was talking about our other elected representatives here. Then we have some in the room who go to Des Moines on our behalf. And I want to thank you as well, and I'm including you in that responsive to our citizens group, okay? I needed to do that, and I wanted to do that. Secondly, I'm really interested in this civic engagement and participation of the younger generation, and I was sitting here thinking, now how can we do that at the county level? You know, we don't have, you know, students, but I'm thinking about the boards and commissions. The supervisors serve on boards and commissions, but we also appoint boards and commissions, people to boards and commissions at the county level. And in fact, I always say, I don't know where county government would be if we didn't have so many volunteers on those. I'm going to challenge our department heads and other elected officials to think every time we appoint somebody, how can we reach out to younger people, get them involved in government? Because that's the way people get involved in government. That's the way they go into, you know, they run for office because they get that experience, and they also are able to participate, and we get some value in terms of planning from that generation, not just, so anyway. I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to say, how can we get more younger people involved in government? Affordability, yes, housing is a huge issue, and as I said earlier, we are going to be working on that. It's very near and dear to our hearts, and we will be working on that. And I want to talk about one of the things that's near and dear to my heart. And it's maybe, I'm doing it under public-facing projects. It's not an infrastructure project, the normal. It's not a road or a bridge or a building. It's water quality. How do we make sure that we, in this agricultural state, do more than pay lip service to water quality? We have things going on. They are not very well funded. We do a lot of volunteer efforts. We do a lot of trying to educate. You know, we've gotten some wetlands going. We have edge of field practices. We're working on cover crops. Not enough. We need lots more, and maybe I'd like to really talk to more younger farmers about that, if we, where they are. There's a lot of challenges in dealing with the water quality in an ag state, but what choice do we have? So, and Selden Spencer here works with me on one of our watershed management authorities. He's been doing it longer than I have, and we've had some discussions about how we can get some more traction on this issue. And we have 2 watershed management authorities, Ioway Creek and Headwaters of the South Skunk River, who are now jointly working together to try, to bring more innovations in water quality and get more things going here in Story and Boone and Hamilton counties, which is basically our watershed, and we're going to keep working on that. Right, Selden? You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to remind you that all our sponsors have provided information on the tables for you to look at and extend your civic engagement even beyond what you're doing today. All right, as we conclude this year's 2026 State of the Community event, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed panelists for their time, insights, and dedication to the community and all of whom they serve. There's a lot of talk these days about how our institutions are weakening. Well, when I listen to these folks today, I know that's not true. They represent strong, dedicated institutions and employees who make our lives and our community a better place. So thank you. We want to thank each of you in the audience for your attendance on this extraordinarily cold day. and for your ongoing engagement in making our community a vibrant place to live and work. Please remember that you can address any remaining questions to our panelists via the contact information we've provided. We'd like to express our special thanks to our sponsors, the League of Women Voters of Ames and Story County, the United Way, the NAACP, and KHOI Radio for their support in organizing this event. Thank you all for being here today. We wish you a safe journey home. Your continued involvement is crucial in shaping the future of our community. Thank you.